Okay, so we had in the last class worked with the series, one of the data structures of Pandas, right? And the basic features, if we talk about series, was that it is one-dimensional. It cannot be changed in terms of structure. So we say it is structure immutable, but yes, data mutable. Data can be changed, right? So we did the way to create the series with the various options of list and arrays, and using the array function, using the arange function. We did all that. Then we worked a little on how to add data to my series, how to update the data to my series, how to use the various attributes which we learned. Displaying the index, displaying the values, displaying the size, all that we did. Okay. So now we are starting off with the next structure of the pandas, which is the data frame. Okay. So in series, it was a single dimensional, as we heard. Data frame is my two-dimensional structure. So when I say a two-dimensional structure, I mean here that it is similar to my tables. It has rows as well as it has columns. Second point here is that, of course, it is very efficient for analyzing data, understanding the various operations on the data which we try to do. And then it contains heterogeneous data. By heterogeneous, I mean every column can contain a separate category of information like integer or a float or string. This is in contrary to the way we are storing the data in series, because in series we talk about always homogeneous data. Though आप दे रहे हो different चीजें उसको, that is allowed, but internally जाके वो single type में ही store हो जाता है. If you have mixed type तो वो object type का बना देगा. I had shown that to you. अगर आप similar type रखोगे तो वो similar type रखेगा उसको. ठीक है? So that is why we say that it is a heterogeneous data instead of homogeneous data. Because here they are letting you store different categories of data and preserve its identity also. Fine. In this case, size and data both are mutable. I can change the size also. I can change the data also. And in the case of series, we had only one index, which was my row index, because there was no column as such. But in the case of data frame, we have row as well as column indexes both. Okay, so like this is the kind of data. If you see, I have got admission number, name, class, section, marks as my column indexes. And here are my, if I take the admission number, not as a heading, because I would consider these as my indexes, row indexes or row labels in that case. So I remove the admission number from my list of columns. So my columns are name, class, section, and marks. Okay. Now, these are my defined labels, as we call them, user labels, row labels, column labels. Label मतलब जो user ने दिया, ठीक है? And positional index is also functional. So name will be 0th index, class will be 1. Please assume that I am not taking this into consideration. Okay, this is a cut for me. Like series mein we had the index here. So this is my index here. The row index or the row labels as we call it. And these are my column indexes, name, class, section, marks. They also have positional values applicable. So here we have this as 0, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Similarly here also, this is 0th row, first row, second row, and third. Just a simple thing, whenever you count the data, it is counting from 1. Whenever you go by the positions, it is always from 0. Okay, so positional index is working both the cases, row as well as column indexes. I can take it both ways, but depending upon the use of the indexer, that also will vary. Let's see. Okay, so let's move on to the further things. Now, when you talk about creating the data frame, as we are creating the series with various options, with a list, with an array को भी अलग-अलग तरीके से बनाया और फिर उसको use किया. We have seen that. Similarly, data frame creation का भी there are multiple methods. You can use list, you can use arrays, you can use list of dictionaries, you can use dictionary of list, you can use series. multiple things can be used. But it's like, जो existing data है, I can utilize that. Already series बने हुए हैं. Individual columns are my like series, or individual rows are like my series. एक row का information एक series में stored है. So I can ultimately use that and create my data frame. Like that, I'm saying. Otherwise, we type it the whole data and give it in the form of list of dictionaries or dictionary of list. Okay. Now, इसमें से the most convenient one which is there, it is the dictionary of list method. Okay, though I'll provide you the material with for all the types, but we will follow the dictionary of list method only, because we don't really need to go into the details of all the other material, all the other types. एक आना चाहिए method. So we will go by the dictionary of list method. ठीक है? Empty series, empty data frame, we all need to understand. It is just that the bracket remains blank here. We are not giving any input to it initially. I will add data later. So I just want to create the structure and keep it ready. Okay. So the empty data frame is created like this here. pd.dataframe. Now, यहाँ पे what you have to remember is that nothing. If you want that list of dictionary and dictionary of list, जैसे हम dictionary of list करेंगे, I'll simultaneously tell you what is the difference. ठीक है? Okay. So we talk about the data frame as my function name. This is series tha. Let's say you have the data frame name is the function name to create my data frame. Simple. इसको याद रखना कोई मुश्किल नहीं है. सिर्फ ये चीज ध्यान रखना है. In this case, the D is capital and the F is capital. That's the format. Okay. It's not all small or all capital. It is D capital, F capital. Like in the series function, we had S capital. Okay. So simple, my blank data frame is created like this. Now, when we move forward, this I'm talking about using dictionary of list. ठीक है? अब इस चीज को समझने के लिए let me take you around creating it, and when we create it, you will understand it better. What happens is, again, you can create your dictionary with default indexes or with the index labels. तो हम दोनों तरीके से बना के देखते हैं इसको. Okay. So let's start with one data. Let us say that I want to create a dictionary with, as usual, which the kind of data I will see. Roll number, name, class, section, like that. Okay. So I'm starting up with my import. Import pandas as PD, same thing. Series के लिए भी dictionary के लिए भी pandas ही चाहिए. I'm not using any array here, so I'm not taking numpy. I'm sticking to pandas only. Okay. So here then I start creating. Now what happens is, ultimately what happens is that a dictionary format is what? Key, colon, value. है ना? अब dictionary of list क्या हो जाएगा कि वो key single है of course, लेकिन जो उसके corresponding value है वो single ना होके it is a list of values. Okay? Key, colon, value. And that value is not a single value but a list of value. Let's see that. So I'm saying dictionary बना रहे हम लोग. So D is equal to dictionary का basic क्या है? Set of curly braces. Now the key. Okay. Now what happens here is that हम जो यहाँ पे key देंगे, that will ultimately become my column name. That's how it is done. All the keys become the column name and all the values become the data of every column. That's how it works. Right? So I'm saying name is my key. Right? Colon. Now key colon value हमने सीखा है, but it is here a list of values. That is why this is called as a dictionary of list, a dictionary which contains lists. That's why this method is called as a dictionary of list method. Okay. Okay. Now let's give a few names. Supposingly, all those maybe who are present here. Let's start with Neptic, followed Rebecca, followed okay, I'm just taking 3 names here as of now. Okay. Do you get the format? Comma. I go to the next line, you may use it in the same line also, but for me to understand it later becomes easy. So preferably I keep it in multiple lines. Now the next key value pair. So here are the classes for these three children, which is supposingly 10, 12, 11. Okay, comma. Now I talk about section. Okay, and the section says that, just a second. And the section says A, then you have A again, then you have C. Okay, let's keep this much and then we'll see the change. Okay, so my closing, opening curly braces, we have the closing here, and then I come down. So my dictionary is ready. Now this dictionary has to be used for my data frame. Okay, so I'm saying let my data frame be df is equal to pd dot data frame, open close. Okay, the data is d. Okay, I'm not currently giving the index values. I am going to give it once as a next example. Okay, so by default के साथ काम करेगा. Okay, this is it, and let's quickly check the data, whether my data frame has been created or not. Let's execute and check. First time it takes little time because the import has to be done. Next time onwards, it will not. Okay? So my data frame is ready. So आपके पास अगर dictionary ready है, you just have to provide the data to him. What is happening here? If you judge it up, every key is becoming the column and every list of information is becoming the corresponding column information for the data frame. That is how the dictionary of list is interpreted as the data frame. Okay? Understood? Now, if I want to give my own index label, so I'll proceed like this, just the way we did for the series. Index is equal to what index do you want to give? Suppose I want to give the one I was generally working with, 101, 102, and 103. The moment I put these in quotes, they will become string labels. I don't put these in quotes, they are my numeric labels. Okay, you can have a mix of string and numeric also. वो एरर नहीं देता, इंटरनली वैसे स्टोर होगा, तो हर बार आपको एक्सेस करने के लिए हर चीज के लिए ये ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा कि 103 वाज अ स्ट्रिंग, तो ऑब्वियसली वो नहीं करना चाहिए, बट इट इज अलाउड, इट विल नॉट गिव मी एन एरर. ओके, यू कैन हैव अ मिक्स ऑफ data types also in the index. There is no error in that. You should know what you're doing and you should know how to extract that later. उसमें फिर गड़बड़ नहीं होगा, because every string के लिए आपको फिर you have to put a quote, so that you have to know. Right? So these are my labels and this is my data. Whenever I talk about index, again I repeat, it is this which I'm talking about. But when I specifically say column indexes, then it will be name, class, section as column labels. If I talk about positional index for the columns, it will be 0, 1, 2. Like that we refer. Okay? So that is how my creation of dictionary of this method with default indexes and with specific indexes. You just have to give the index here. That is the only thing. Similar data itself I took to show you. So that is how it is showing up. Is the creation okay? 0, 1, 2 are the index of the rows, right? Yes, yes, it is. Chalo. Now my data is ready. मैंने खुद बनाया या मैंने create किया या मैंने उठा के data को इसमें use किया, whatever, my data is ready. Now next thing is that I'm going to learn about adding. No, Vani, you cannot have data without index. your series हो, चाहे data हो, if you don't want to specify your own index, it will pick up the default one. Because सारा access ही index के through है. So index is compulsory. If you don't give, you give the default one. If you give, it will be your own. Okay, so index has to be there. Okay. So inserting columns. Again, in Python, as you know, for एक चीज के लिए there are multiple methods, but I have picked up one for you so that we can concentrate on that. Otherwise, we'll get confused. Because हमें इस चीज को एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से एग्जैक्टली नहीं करना है, हमें इस चीज को सीखने के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से करना है, बिकॉज मुझे इसको अपने प्रोजेक्ट में यूज करना है. Whatever I create a practical or a project, there I have to use. So there I can use one method also, no problem. Even if the examiner during the practical exam, they may ask you, they will just try to verify whether you understand the process or not, whether you know what you have done. It doesn't matter that whether which method you have used. Okay? So isme you have multiple methods. If you study from somewhere and you find that you're more comfortable with that method, I don't mind. But I find this to be more, easier for me. That's the only thing. Right? Okay. Now, I don't know how this data got converted into capital letters, because obviously capital print will not work. But anyway, ignoring the case, when I want to insert data, it is a very simple thing. Whenever you are either inserting a full column or you're inserting a full row. ठीक है? Row related जब भी कोई काम करना है, so we will prefer to use the indexer LOC. अच्छा, first thing, did we discuss about the indexers LOC and square bracket and ILOC? सीरीज के साथ हमने ये चीज डिस्कस करी कुछ. LOC, ILOC and square brackets. I think we have. Have we? Anybody remembers? No. Okay. Chalo, fine. Then it's fresh for us. ठीक है. So when we want to create insert a column, what is the method? Let's do it there itself. साथ साथ करते रहते हैं. If you have your machine, you can have it done simultaneously. At least एक बार कर लोगे. That will be easier. Okay. So I'm back to my code. My data frame is ready. Now I want to insert a grade. Okay. So how do I insert the data frame name? The square brackets. Okay. Here I give the column name what I want. So I want a grade. And then again, the list of the values of the grade. So here my grades are supposedly, section and grade will look similar. Let me put something else. Percentage. That's better. At least data दिखे तो कुछ अलग दिखे. So percentage, I'm saying 70, 80, 89. ठीक है? Numeric, so no quotes. 3 rows का था, तो हमने 3 data डाला उसको, दिया, corresponding to 3 values. Right? And my column has been permanently inserted. There is no non-permanent thing here. So let's print the DF with this data and we'll check this out. Very simple it is. Multiple methods में confusion होता है. Single method को याद रखना is not that difficult. You can see here the PERC has been added without any trouble. Okay. Now when I want to insert a new record, my story goes with LOC. Actually, these 3 things, simple square brackets, LOC and ILOC. These are the 3 indexers which are being used for the entire addition, you may say modification, extraction, search, slicing. Again, for extraction only. So jitna ye wala kaam hai, we are using either of these. Everything has a way of doing it. Everything has a significance. Like ILOC can only be used when I go for the positional indexes. 0, 1, 2, 3. ILOC I cannot use with name or percentage, section. नाम के साथ use नहीं कर सकते. As the name suggests, it is index location. So indexes जब भी आपको use करना, the default one, then you can use for extracting your row and column and all that, ILOC. LOC के साथ हम लोग हमेशा यूज करेंगे your own labels. वहां पे हम लोग positional index यूज नहीं कर सकते. It is not allowed. Because if you write 1, तो वो 1 नाम से label ढूंढेगा. ठीक है. So that way the differences are there. स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट वाला कॉलम के लिए बहुत इजी हो जाता है यूज करना, एंड देन फॉर स्लाइसिंग वी यूज द स्क्वायर पैटर्न्स. वहां पे डायरेक्टली रो पे वी कैन अप्लाई दैट. ओके, दैट इज हाउ दिस वर्क्स. PERC added. Now I go for the row. Now df.loc, the row ID I have 103 तक कर दिया मैंने, so 104 is equal to the list of values for 104. Now 104 के लिए you have to add for name, class, section and percentage all 4 values. Otherwise it will not be able to process it because हमारा एक column already added है when I'm going to run this code. Right? So I have this thing here. So I need the name of the person. Let it be woman. Then I need the class 12, section C, and then let's put D because we already have the C. Okay, then we have the percentage. Let the percentage be about 95. Okay, so this is it. My row has been added. Now let us display the output again. Okay, I'm now not displaying this particular part. Obviously, it will come with the other different statements. Okay, so column added, row added. Let's check these two things. My column added in this, and in the next print, we have the row added also. ठीक है ना. तो अब यही होगा कि अगर आप इसको यूजर से डेटा लेके करोगे तो यू विल टेक एंटर योर नेम एक वेरिएबल के अंदर, क्लास एक वेरिएबल के अंदर करके, एंड देन हियर यू विल स्पेसिफाई द वेरिएबल फॉर द एडमिशन नंबर. अगर इसको हम एडमिशन नंबर मान के चलते हैं तो एडमिशन नंबर. तो इस तरीके से हियर वी आर गिविंग द डेटा डायरेक्टली. Obviously, when you are going to use it in your project or anywhere, you're going to make it dynamic, है ना. तो वेरिएबल्स में डेटा लेके हम उसको ऐड कर देंगे यहाँ पे इस तरीके से वेरिएबल्स के थ्रू. ठीक है. सो दिस इज माय एडिशन ऑफ रो. Now let's see what next do we have here. अच्छा, one more thing. This whole format has been changed. Okay, here there's one more thing I want to say, that is, if I try to give here something like this, let me use it here itself directly. I'm saying here that for a single column, or maybe for that matter for row also, suppose I'm giving it a remark. एक कॉलम ऐड भी हो जाएगा साथ में, और वो भी हो जाएगा जो मैं बताना चाहती हूँ. What is that? I'm saying that single value given for this, I'm not including in the list. No error. Why? Because all the corresponding values in that new column remark will become good. ठीक है. Similarly, अगर if I give some, अच्छा इसमें एक चीज ध्यान रखना हमेशा, if I try to do something like this, that सबका सेक्शन चेंज करना है to B. ठीक है. बट हमें ध्यान है कि हमें तो वो लिस्ट बॉक्स बनाना पड़ता. So if I put a list box here, then there is a issue. ठीक है. So list जब आप दे रहे हो तो the count should match. Length of values 1 does not match index 4. उसको 4 values चाहिए correspondingly, आप उसको 1 दे रहे हो. Right? So it is applicable only when you talk about a single value. Otherwise the count has to match. So single value में लेकिन आप फिर list नहीं देंगे. List देंगे तो it is expecting the exact count of values. Okay? So this way I can actually change. Like let's do it now correctly. I want to make everybody's section as B. So I'll say DF, the column name. Let my column name be section. And my section is equal to B. So when I do it like this, the entire section column will get the data as B. Okay. So list is applicable when you are giving the same amount of data जितना उसको चाहिए as per the count of the fields or count of the columns. But otherwise, if you give it a single value, it will replace all the values or without any warning. So you have to be very careful about it. Right? So all the things are replaced. Okay. Now adding a new row we have done. If I give the existing row label, तो वो जाके उस डेटा को अपडेट भी कर देता है. नया रो लेबल दोगे तो ऐड हो जाएगा, वो ढूंढेगा और नहीं मिलेगा. तो इज द सेम वे ऑफ अपडेटिंग ऑल्सो. यू कैन अपडेट द डेटा लाइक दिस टू. बट हियर इन दिस केस द अपडेशन मीन्स दैट द होल रो वैल्यू हैज टू बी गिवन. हाउ डू आई अपडेट 103 का मार्क्स, है ना, सिंगल पर्टिकुलर थिंग, उसका मेथड अलग है. बट इफ यू आर डूइंग इट लाइक दिस, तो इट इज यू हैव टू गिव द होल स्टोरी. आई जस्ट नॉट सेड दैट द काउंट हैज टू मैच. फाइन. बट दिस वे वी कैन रिप्लेस द होल डेटा इफ यू वांट. अगर वो रो लेबल एग्जिस्ट करेगा, सो इंडेक्स इज इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर इट. अगर वो इंडेक्स एग्जिस्ट करेगा तो उस इंडेक्स को उठा के रिप्लेस कर देगा विद द न्यू वैल्यूज. इफ इट इज नॉट एग्जिस्टिंग, इट विल ऐड द न्यू इंडेक्स. It is similar for the column, it is similar for the row. Okay. I will do the same thing with ILOC. Please take it up as small case. I don't know, the office's version is different, I believe. Hence this problem is come. So ILOC में 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. Path should change to Muskan and 100 and A plus. So you see here Aman, Vishal, Sonia, instead of path, now it has become Muskan. So अगर आपको you don't remember the row label, but you remember the index value. So index value can be given, but then you cannot give ILOC, you have to give ILOC pattern. So wherever you use index values for doing all this work, you have to go with ILOC. Now we have added a row, we have deleted a row. Sorry, added a column. Let's quickly learn about deletion also. Okay. Now deletion के लिए, again, you have pop, you have remove, you have multiple other options. But drop is easier because in drop हम लोग drop से दोनों चीजें remove कर सकते हैं, row as well as column. Fine. And permanent also, non-permanent also. Everything can be done with this one single function. So it is, I believe, is the easiest to remember. So let us do this also practically first because things are not properly visible here. Let's do it from here. ठीक है. So हमारे पास final data जो है, that is as per this. I will have 101 से 104 all records and name, class, section, percentage as my column. Okay. Now I want to talk about deleting a row first, right? So let's understand the format. So df dot drop. Drop is a function. Now LOC, ILOC and square brackets are indexes. They are not functions, so they will never use a half circle. Do you see here? There is no half circle. There is no half circle here. Right? Data frame is a function, so half circle. Print is a function, so half circle. Drop is a function, so I'll have a half circle. ठीक है. अब ड्रॉप करने के लिए उसको 3 चीजें बतानी पड़ती है, which has its defaults also, the last 2, but mainly 3 things have to be given. Number 1, क्या डिलीट करना है? The row label, column label, उनके नाम. Like supposingly I want to delete 102. नाम बता दिया. ठीक है. अब उसको ये बताना पड़ता है कि ये चीज उसको रो इंडेक्स में मिलेगा या कॉलम इंडेक्स में मिलेगा. For that I give him a access. Access is equal to 0 is for row. How do you remember? 0, row. And row is like this. Row is like no. So like this, 0 say row say no. So you know that you're talking about this horizontal thing and you're talking about the row when the access is 0. ठीक है. Pandas में throughout जहाँ पे भी access की बात होगी, it is 0 for row and 1 for column. Right? And 1 looks like a column also, so you can remember that. That 1 means column, vertical. ठीक है, ऐसे याद रख सकते हैं. So access 0 is default also. So अगर मैं access 0 नहीं दूं तो भी वो जाके row में ही ढूंढेगा. But you may mention, so access 0 means the row. Then comes the in place. In place का concept ये होता है that if you give a false here, which is by default, it's a non-permanent deletion. वो सिर्फ उस टाइम के लिए आपको डिलीट करके दिखा देता है. If you put a print statement along with that, or you want to store it in a different structure कि मुझे इन बच्चों का records हटा के बाकी उठाना. Might be a requirement sometime. So you may do it like that. I'll show you in both the manner. So this is in place equal to false. false being a Boolean value, you have capital letters में. ठीक है, in place equal to true कर दिया, so there is no output which comes, so hence no print in the script mode, but you have to have, I mean that's permanently gone. You cannot retrieve it back. और कोई output नहीं है तो हम store भी नहीं कर सकते. ठीक है, now इसका output हमने देख लिया एक बारी, drop करने के बाद ये रो कैसा दिखेगा, and now I'm saying that I'm trying to store it in df1, एक और डेटा फ्रेम के अंदर, दो रोज टेम्पररी वहां से डिलीट करके आई एम स्टोरिंग इट हियर. सो स्ट्रक्चर से भी डिलीट नहीं होगा, बट मेरे पास वो डेटा डिलीट होने के बाद बाकी जो बच गया वो इधर आ जाएगा इन df1. सो df.drop, so what am I trying to drop? I am trying to drop 101 and 102, पहले दो records. Okay, so 101 and 102. Now again, more than one, so list 101, comma 102. Access 0 by default है, I'm not writing. Okay, in place by default false है, I want by default वाला value only for here because I want temporary solution, so temporary deletion. So that also I'm not writing. Right? And then let us print the output for df1. Now, what all I'll get? I will get, let's not print it separately here to avoid confusion. So I will have name, class, section, percentage as extra column and 104 के साथ मेरा एक डेटा पूरा आएगा. फिर वो मुझे 102 हटा के 101, 103, 104 का डेटा दिखाएगा. फिर वो df1 का डेटा दिखाएगा जिसके अंदर सिर्फ 103 और 104 का डेटा होना चाहिए, बिकॉज 101 और 102 रिमूव करके डेटा को स्टोर किया गया. ठीक है, लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड एंड सी द आउटपुट हियर नाउ. So 3 outputs are coming. Number 1 is my entire structure जिसमें percentage भी add हो गया था, 104 भी add हो गया था. Then is the immediate deletion के साथ जब हम print कर रहे हैं temporarily deleted 102. You can see 102 is not here. Fine. So उसने output दिया. Remember that is why temporary deletion के साथ हमेशा print देना जरूरी होता है. We always forget it when we do it in the script mode. Okay. And then the problem is कि जब आप वापस उसको डिस्प्ले करते हो तो आप कहते हो वो तो दिख रहा है ना, क्योंकि इट्स अ टेम्पररी डिलीशन, उसने सिर्फ उस पॉइंट के लिए डिलीट, राइट. और डिलीट करके आई एम स्टोरिंग इट इन अ पर्टिकुलर थिंग, तो यहाँ पे वी कैन सी दैट द रेस्ट ऑफ द टू रिकॉर्ड्स आर कमिंग. 101 and 102 has been deleted, 103 and 104 are being displayed. That's the content of df1. So you have df storing all the 4 records and df1 storing the ones I picked from here, there. So that's one way of you can do a copy paste kind of a thing. कि वहां पे भी रहे और यहाँ पे भी आ जाए. Okay, that's how I can utilize my temporary deletion. Otherwise, कोई logic नहीं है उसका actually. Okay, now let's move on to the permanent deletion. Same thing. The method is absolutely same. The only thing is that you definitely are not going to retrieve the data back once you have deleted it. Right? So let's get here and do one thing of that sort. I am just making these as comments because I'll send a screenshot so that you can correlate the outputs. Okay. And let's do a permanent deletion. And यहाँ पे अब हम column delete करते हैं. This we did with row. Let's try with the column. So df.drop brackets open. Now column name has to be given. Let me delete section and percentage. So again, a list is required because it's more than one. So section, comma, percentage. Okay. Fine. Access. अच्छा, suppose access नहीं देते तो क्या गलत दे रहा है वो, ठीक है? Let's try that. Let's try this thing first. We actually have less than a minute, so let's try it properly itself. Access is equal to 1 and in place is equal to 2. Let's quickly see the output for this. Print df and then we'll finish. That is this much is done for us. Okay, let's quickly do this part. Run module. Okay, so here we have, and you can see here the section and percentage column has been permanently deleted because now I printed DF after deletion. It's not there. Okay, so we learned in this class today how to create the data frame, then how to add a new column, how to add a new row, how to delete a row, and how to delete a column, both